host Joel Perez, and you're watching Wrestling with Politics. And today we're going to be taking a little bit of a break from the news cycle to discuss a topic that I've been meaning to discuss probably since I started this channel. Because whenever you talk about politics, one of the first things that always comes up is the topic of political labels. Are you on the left? Are you on the right? Are you in the center? Where are you in this political spectrum? And that's why I needed to make this video today, because I have a very strong opinion when it comes to this topic, and I believe that political labels are quite useless. As a matter of fact, I'll go as far as to say that political labels are stupid. They're a very, very stupid thing, and I'm going to explain to you why. And the reason why I say this is because when you ask somebody, are you on the left? Are you on the right? And they answer that they are indeed on the left or on the right. And I used to describe myself as on the left side of the political spectrum. But I've since abandoned such logic, because whenever you talk to somebody who knows nothing about politics and you start telling them, oh yes, I describe myself as a left winger, they don't have any idea what that means. And whenever you tell somebody who does know about politics, and you tell them that you're on the left or the right, they automatically assume tons of beliefs that you might not even have to you. When you tell somebody you're on the left, they're probably going to assume that you're a Democrat and that you support Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. But there's people on the left side of the political spectrum, like myself, when I considered myself on the left, who hated Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So being on the left doesn't necessarily mean that you have political views which are all on the left. And that's what makes this whole conversation so confusing, because being on the right, it doesn't necessarily mean that all your beliefs are going to be on the right and that you support Donald Trump and that you love guns and that you support the First Amendment. The odds are that yes, you might believe in those things, but when you use a political label to describe your political beliefs, you're putting yourself into a certain box, into a certain camp, and you're prescribing beliefs to yourself that you might not even have. And that's the whole thing here. Political views, they're diverse. Political views, they can be in all different types of categories. And sometimes you can't put people into the box of left or right or center or whatever it is, whatever label it is, libertarian, conservative, independent, whatever it might be. You can't put people into these boxes and expect all of their political views to conveniently fit into that box. There's some people who believe my body, my choice, but those same people who believe my body, my choice when it comes to abortion rights do not believe in my body and my choice when it comes to vaccine rights. They believe that you have a choice when it comes to whether or not you want to abort and kill your newborn baby, but you don't have a choice when it comes to putting vaccines and putting a medically mandated treatment in your body. So you see how those two things can conflict right there? People's own views can conflict with each other, and that's why these political labels, they don't make any sense. Because at the end of the day, when you put people into these boxes, here's the other thing, and here's why the people in power want you to use these political labels. Because when you put people into these boxes, you're putting people into a group, and when you're in a group, that automatically means that if you're for one thing, you must be against another, right? So if you're on the left, you must be against the right, and vice versa. If you're on the right, you must be against the left. And that's what gets people against each other. That's what gets people to feud with each other and believe that I'm on the left, so the enemy is all these Trump supporters on the right. That's the enemy. And I'm a Trump supporter. I love Donald Trump, so the enemy is the left. And that's who I have to target. And that's the reason why all the political problems that I believe are problems, the reason all those problems exist is because of the other side. When in reality, the reason that all of these political problems exist is because of the people in power, the people who run the world, the top 1%, the corporations, the politicians, the people who are actually in power. They want you to focus on anything but them. So if you're focused on each other and if you're fighting each other, that works out perfectly for the people in power, the people who are actually responsible for making your life miserable. They want you focused on the left. They want you attacking the right. They want you at each other's throats so that you're not at their throats. And that's exactly why these political labels, they're not just meaningless, they're not just stupid, they're also destructive. Because these political labels, they're the foundation of what's being used to turn us against each other. And for those who don't know much about politics, they get confused by these political labels. They don't understand what this means, and it takes people a lot of time to figure out what that even means. What does it mean to be on the left? What does it mean to be on the right? Sometimes it takes too much time to even explain any of this crap, and so why even mention it at all? That's why I like to call myself a political independent, because when you call yourself and you consider yourself an independent thinker, guess what? That forces people to ask you what you actually believe. When I say I'm an independent, people can't just assume that I believe this or that or the other thing. People have to ask me what I actually believe. They actually have to have a conversation with me, and they actually have to engage with me on a political basis. And so that's why I consider myself a political independent, because if you want to find out what I believe, you're going to have to get in the weeds. You're going to have the debate. You're going to have the discussion, and you're going to have to put in the work and find out what I actually believe, because my political beliefs, guess what? They can't be put into a box. They are not just on the left. They're not just on the right. They're all over the place. I believe all sorts of things. And if you want to find out what I believe, you're going to have to ask me. You can't just assume just because I said this that I'm on the left or that I'm on the right. You can't just assume what I believe. And if you do assume what I believe, I'm going to be extremely offended by that, because I can tell you what I believe pretty well my damn self. So don't go ahead and assume that I believe this or I believe that just because of the way I'm talking, because I might sound this way or I might sound that way. I'll tell you what I believe. I'll be pretty clear about what I believe. And if you want to know what I believe that there's a powerful group of very powerful people who control the world, whose main goal it is to make your life worse and to preserve their own profits. And we need to focus on that group of people. We need to call out that group of people, and we need to make it our political project to make sure that those people either start working for the interests of the American people, or they get taken out, they get put in jail where they actually belong. That's what I actually believe. And you can't put those beliefs in a certain box. You can't put that. It's not on the left. It's not on the right. My beliefs, they're based in populism. And my beliefs are based on what's actually best for the American people. Yes, there is a label for that. And I just mentioned it. It's a little something called populism. And that's a system where the popular demands of the American people are put at the forefront. And it's a belief that it's growing in popularity very, very fast, because right now we live in a system where exactly the opposite of that is the case. We live in a system where politicians, they no longer serve the interest of the American people. They serve the interest of their corporate donors. They serve the interest of a foreign lobby. And we need to put that kind of system to an end. This can no longer continue the way it is. And so if you want to join me in this populist independent movement to take out these politicians and make them actually serve to the demands of the American people again, well, you already know what you can do. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe to the Wrestling with Politics YouTube channel. And you can let me know what you think about this topic, of course, in the comment section below. What do you think? Are you on the left or are you on the right? Or do you, like myself, consider yourself a political independent and a populist. Let me know what you think. For now, that's what I think. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to check out the rest of the content on the channel. We just made a video talking about the return of Kamala Harris to sell her new book on MSNBC. That was quite the video, and I hope you guys found this to be quite the video as well. But for now, that's all I've got for you. I'll see you all very, very soon.